Welcome to Above Replacement Radio. I am your host, Chris Gianta. I might be becoming a bad baseball fan who can't enjoy the romantic things because of advanced statistics. 15 years from now, I want to be on the early baseball committee. Over there on the other side of the screen is Daniel Curran.
I literally have the Fangraphs hoodie, the baseball reference t-shirt, just repping some stats, you know what I'm saying?
It's not necessarily Hall of Fame. It's not necessarily above average, but we can guarantee you we are better than just the standard replacement level college sophomore.
And welcome to Above Replacement Radio, where we're talking baseball kind of whenever. I'm your host, Chris Gianta. Over there on the other side of the screen is Daniel Curran. How you doing, Daniel?
Chris, I am doing pretty well today. We got more baseball to talk about.
Yes, yeah. We do. And
yep, that's the one. And that's kind of it, really.
And I did kind of I did sort of forget on the intro, but Daniel is recording on a very special day. It is his 23rd birthday. I think I recorded on my birthday once, so this is probably your first time recording on your birthday.
Yeah, I mean, I'm officially in my Ted Simmons year. I know guys like Buck Showalter and Buck Martinez have great things to say about the amazing switch hitting catcher that is a Hall of Famer. It's what it's all about. I'm in the Ted Simmons year. I can't think of a better comparison for 23.
I think that's the best you can do there. And I mean, that's a Hall of Famer. So yeah. I don't think there's any other Hall of Famers in any sport donning 23 like that. So you gotta
only
put yourself at the best, and that's what you're doing.
Zach Greinke isn't eligible yet.
Yeah. Exactly.
He wears 20. I thought about going Greinke year, but I was like, oh my God, Ted Simmons. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, absolutely.
In our group chat with Nico Fasella and Rob Dickey, I said Eric Fetty year.
Yeah, that's
also a good one because that fits the vibe of that group chat, I think, more than Ted Simmons does.
Yeah, Eric Fetty is a guy who qualifies as a name you haven't heard in years, even though most of his work has been in the past couple years.
Yeah, he pitched last year. He pitched like 120 innings last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunate for him, but
he's just that guy. He's just Eric Fetty. So for the special occasion, we will get into a segment on players who really excelled on their birthday, whether it be a single game performance or just general dominance on birthdays throughout their career. But first, we got to talk about a team who has been in first place or tied for first place for all 56 days of the regular season so far. And by many people's surprise, it is the Texas Rangers, who still sit atop the American League West with a record of 31-18, the third best record in the American League, and probably a little bit more impressive with MLB. Yeah, the third best record in Major League Baseball, which is pretty unbelievable, and one of the best run differential in all of baseball.
Yes.
What are we seeing with the Texas Rangers?
Yeah, I mean, they're kind of doing it all, really. Nathan Eovaldi's been atop that rotation this year, one of the many newly acquired pitchers they have. He has 2.4 Fangraphs wins above replacement. That is the leader in the American League. Only Zach Gallen has more than him overall. And, he's keeping the ball in the park, which I think as Red Sox fans, we know that Nathan Eovaldi is at his best when he's keeping the ball in the park, because he always is going to have very good strikeout to walk numbers. And he does this year, 8.57 K per nine, 1.43 walks per nine, and 0.3 home runs per nine is pretty outstanding. Obviously, that's going to lead the league in a lot of years in this day and age. And to go along with that, he has a 51.6% ground ball rate, which is well above the league average. There's not really an aspect of pitching that Nathan Eovaldi hasn't been doing well this year.
Yeah, and the Rangers were able to get him on a pretty good deal, good deal for the team. Only 2 years, $34 million, signing a 33-year-old, because he didn't have the full year last year. If he went into free agency after 2021, it probably would have been a different story. But it was a good. I think I said when the signing happened, I liked the deal for the Rangers, and we're kind of seeing exactly why.
Yeah, no doubt. It's interesting because the Rangers were, a team with a lot of expectations coming into this year, but I don't think anyone could have expected this, especially from the offense, because the offense did not look to have a lot of depth this year, especially with Corey Seager having gone down for as long as he did. Really felt like there was a lot of holes to fill in that offense, but a lot of guys have been, kind of crushing it. Ezekiel Duran, one of the guys they got in the Joey Gallo trade from the Yankees, he's been kind of killing it this year. He has a 135 OPS plus, a 358 BABIP, sure, but I mean he's hitting the ball well. Josh Young has been maybe the best rookie that's played all season long in the American League. A 124 OPS plus, .9 FWAR. He's been excellent, and Leody Taveras has been taking advantage of some good BABIP luck, but also is hitting the ball well, generally speaking. 304, 367, 408 for the year. Jonah Heim has been slumping offensively lately, and he's been good this year. Then also there's guys like Adolis Garcia and Nate Lowe that have taken even bigger steps forward. Marcus Semien is still crushing it. Corey Seager, when he's been on the field, has been good. They've even gotten decent production in shorts samples out of guys like Josh H. Smith, my player to watch, and Travis Jankowski, as well as Mitch Garver in 22 plate appearances. There's not a lot of guys that aren't doing well for the Rangers, or at least guys that are not doing well with a lot of time, except for like maybe Robbie Grossman. He's been struggling, but that's kind of it.
Right. Yeah. The Texas Rangers as a whole have the second best OPS in all of baseball and the second best weighted runs created plus in all of baseball, because of guys that are definitely outperforming expectations. I know Adolis Garcia is absolutely hammering the ball. He has an average exit velocity of over like 93 miles per hour. He's been really killing it. And on the pitching side, they've been doing very well as well. I mean, having a team ERA plus that is 115, and an ERA that ranks fifth in the American League. They're absolutely killing it, and this is despite, for the past month, not having Jacob deGrom, which is, it's pretty amazing for this Rangers team. Says a lot about this Rangers team that they can do all this without their best pitcher.
Yeah, no, it's been pretty remarkable. The bullpen's also been killing it. Will Smith out of the bullpen has looked really good FIP-wise. And he even has a 237 BABIP to go along with that, mostly because he has a 25.6% ground ball rate and a 4.5% home runs per fly ball ratio. So, I'm presuming that means he's inducing a lot of weak contact that goes in the air. Globe Life Field is a park that can hold in some fly balls. So he's probably been taking advantage of that. Also, Josh Spores, Ian Kennedy, guys like that have been killed. Even like Dane Dunning to a degree. He's not striking out a lot of people, but he hasn't given up a home run yet. And he is a ground ball guy, 50.8% this year. So, they've just been getting solid contributions kind of across the entire team, from the rotation of the bullpen and also various parts of the lineup.
Yeah, absolutely. Dane Dunning with a 1.67 ERA, definitely in terms of run prevention, doing his work for sure. There's been a lot of pitchers who are doing great at preventing runs. Nathan Eovaldi has kind of taken the ace role without, him originally signing up to be the ace, because a 2.45 FIP, 2.60 ERA. He's really been absolutely dominating. So, I guess to advance the conversation, they're 3 games up in the AL West. I don't think anyone is crowning them AL West favorites yet. But how long do we think them being, having a legit shot with this AL West, how long do we think that's gonna be going on?
I mean, it feels like it's kind of as long as the Astros wanted to, right? I mean, the Astros just feel they always are going to feel inevitable until we get to a moment where they don't eventually come through and win the division by 27 games, because that's what happens seemingly every year. They didn't get off to the hottest start last year either, but also I don't really remember anyone in the AL West doing that except for maybe the Angels, and they obviously went on a 14-game losing streak, which I'm not anticipating the Rangers will do that. But the Astros are only 3 games out. And I'm not doubting the Rangers to keep playing well through the whole season. They certainly look like they're capable of doing so, especially if guys like Eovaldi are going to pitch that well and the rotation is going to be that solid. And, Adolis Garcia, Nate Lowe, and, Simeon Seager are going to continue to stay healthy and rake. But, I mean, it feels like it's as long as the Astros want it to continue, it will continue at this point until I'm proven wrong on that. I think that's the way to go.
Yeah, uh yeah, it's not like the Rangers have are first in the AL West because the Astros are struggling. Astros are doing pretty well. They've definitely heated up as of late. They've probably won like somewhere around 9 of their last 12 or something like that. They've been doing pretty well. They're now 7 games above 500 at 28 and 21. And yeah, they definitely feel inevitable. They've, recently gotten Jose Altuve back, which is definitely big for their team. Probably on the field and off the field. Good to have him just as a second baseman and as a team leader. So the Astros have recently added that back. But yeah, I mean, it's a team that won 106 games last year and kind of coasted through the postseason. So it will be hard for the Rangers to keep up. But yeah, optimistically for the Rangers, I think the possibility of them going to the playoffs is very, very real compared to how we saw it before the season, as sort of maybe down the line, but not this year. This year, it seems like they could make the playoffs.
Yeah. I mean, especially with the 3 wild card spots. I know that's kind of a narrative from last year, but they would be in third place in the AL East right now, and I mean, they're holding off a lot of teams in that division that have all been doing well, and there's no real reason to believe that they can't, because they're not going to have to face the AL East as much as the rest of that division will. So, as long as they can, obviously they can't do it as much, but they get to face the A's 13 times this year. They can do the best against the Astros, Mariners, and Angels, but the AL East is all playing itself, and all of them are obviously very good. So, yeah, I mean, the Rangers do have the advantage over all those AL East teams of not having to play the AL East that much.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. I'm wondering, a team they are 6 games ahead of in the AL West is the Mariners. And the Mariners are probably, eventually going to be competing for a wild card spot here. I'm wondering like how long does it take for the Mariners to catch up, and when will they catch up? I've been saying that they're kind of due for a run, but it's almost June now, and they're 1 game above 500 right now.
Well, I mean, they went on their run right before the All-Star break last year. So, I mean, you can't say at this point that it's too late. But yeah, I mean, time certainly is ticking. They're lucky enough that the Rangers are only now kind of running away with the division. And even then, they're still 6 games out. Like, that is more than manageable for them going forward. But yeah, they're lucky the Astros didn't get out to, the Astros-like start. They're lucky that the Rangers are only really breaking out now. The Angels are kind of hovering 500. But it's definitely not too late for them to go on a run, no doubt.
Yeah, I mean, with the Mariners, that is a team that was in June of last year 10 games below 500, and yeah, they turned it around, got to the playoffs and won a playoff series.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's why I've been saying they're due for a run, that's for sure. So the Rangers are leading the division, but more importantly, it is Daniel Curran's birthday. It's his 23rd, and we probably were going to do this segment, whether it was yours or mine at some point, but I just think it's funny that StatHead has a cool feature where you can find stats on particular players' birthdays, and it's kind of a slower news week, so why not look at, and
Yeah.
it's a special occasion, So
Even funnier, we were going over this over the show, but you have an option to see what people did when it wasn't their birthday, because there is an is birthday filter on StatHead, and you can click yes or no. So it could be like, oh yeah, no, I don't want stats from their birthdays. I want everything else though,
yeah,
which is
it's
very
pretty
fun.
amazing.
Hank Aaron was born on February 5th, so he didn't hit any homers on his birthday. I mean, that's pretty bad.
Yeah, it's
And for how long he played,
talk about not coming through when the moment is there.
yeah.
Talk about not coming in the clutch. But we're pointing out players who had very good birthdays, and we're hoping that Daniel has somewhat close to this level of birthday. My first highlighted player, this is what I sorted by. The first thing I wanted to see most win probability added on a player's birthday, and that was actually pretty recent. Mike Moustakas, on his 31st birthday in 2019, hit 2 go-ahead home runs on his birthday. So
Wow.
shout out to Mike Moustakas. Yeah, I think in the 3rd inning, the Brewers were down 2-1. He hit a 3-run homer, and then it was tied 5-5 in the 9th inning, and he had another 2-run homer, or he hit a 2-run homer. So a 3-run go ahead and a 2-run go ahead.
Did they end up
Mike
winning?
Moustakas did it on his birthday.
Did they win that game?
They won that game. Yeah,
Nice.
they did win that game, and it probably helped them get a wild card spot.
Yeah, right.
In over in 2019. So that's the most win probability added on a player's birthday. This one I think is a little more famous, at least for fans of our team. But Nomar Garcia Parra is the only player to get 3 home runs and the only player to get 8 RBI in a game on his birthday. This was his 29th birthday on July 23rd, 2002. And he shared a lineup with Ricky Henderson. So shout out to the Ricky Henderson Red Sox era.
Yep.
This
was the Ricky Henderson Angels era, and the Ricky Henderson Padres era, and the Ricky Henderson Blue Jays era. I believe the Ricky Henderson Dodgers era. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's where he ended his
He played for a
MLB
lot of random
career.
teams.
Yeah.
The Ricky Henderson Blue Jays, like people don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that Blue Jays deal definitely probably moved mountains because he was part of that World Series champion team.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a fascinating one to me. A player by the name of Fernando Vina on the Brewers and then the Cardinals got 5 hits on both his 29th and 31st birthday in 1998 and 2000.
That's so sick.
It's pretty sick. Yeah.
That's awesome. Why the people should know about that?
Yeah. No,
because 5 hit games, like to have 2 of them, period, is like kind of insane.
It really is.
How many players have like multiple 5 hit games? I would guess it's under like 150.
Right. Yeah, it's hard to do. I know Cedric Mullins did it recently with the 5 hit game, but not on his birthday, so it didn't really actually matter. So another couple more great performances. Tony Campana and Willie Mays both stole 4 bases on their 25th birthdays. That's tied for the most stolen bases on a birthday. So shout out to Tony Campana and Willie Mays, very similar players especially at what they did in their career. And I guess maybe this is boring, but it's a very productive birthday. Brad Hopp on his 29th birthday and on June 22nd, 2008, went 0 for 0 with 4 walks. So
that's pretty cool.
Getting on base.
They didn't want to give him anything to hit.
Yeah, they knew he was excited. They thought he was going to chase out of the zone because he was excited to get some swings on his birthday.
He asked for a higher OBP for his birthday.
Yeah, that was his wish.
That was the best way to do it.
And the only pitcher to throw a no-hitter on his birthday was George Mullen on July 4th, 1912, he celebrated his 32nd birthday with a no-hitter.
And America's whatever that would have been birthday.
Yeah, that was America's like 136th or 146th birthday, something like that.
I don't know.
So
I
yeah,
can't.
shout out to
that's
George
huge.
Mullen getting a no-hitter on his birthday. No one else has done that, which is kind of surprising because there's like a couple hundred no-hitters out there.
So update, I was dead wrong. There is a ton of players that have multiple 5-hit games.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, wow. Okay, the total number is 576. I said it was under 150.
Nice,
But
nice.
hey, I mean, to do it twice on a birthday is still pretty insane.
There is also only one pitcher to have 10 strikeout games on his birthday. Shout out to Stan Williams, who did it
Wow.
in 1960 and 1961.
That's even crazier that he did it in the 60s. I was ready to hear like a player that I recognized that I've like watched on TV.
Right, yeah, exactly. That's fair enough.
If Spencer Strider was born in April or early May, I was ready to hear him.
Yeah, right, right. I guess you could say like in the 60s and 70s they were getting starts like every third or fourth day, but
Like the early
still.
60s, not even like the year of the pitcher 60s.
Yeah, right, yeah, not 68 or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Right, exactly. Also, this might be a bad birthday, you could say. Warren Spahn on April 23rd, 1951, celebrated his 30th birthday by throwing 15 and 2/3 innings, allowing 1 earned run, but also getting the loss.
That's brutal.
Yeah, that's a tough day of work.
Did anyone like hit for the golden sombrero on their birthday?
Um,
I really
probably,
check
yeah.
that one.
I did focus on best birthdays, but I guess I could
Yeah,
have
I wonder if
focused.
there's worse birthdays out there.
I guess I could have focused on horrible birthdays. Who gave up? Who gave up
Oh
like
wow,
9
actually a lot
earned
of people have
runs?
done it. Most recently Taylor Walls in 2022. On July 10th of 2022, he went he did go 1 for 5, but he did have 4 strikeouts.
Damn.
Yeah, there are, in total, no one's done it multiple times, but there are 20 players to have had 4 strikeouts on their birthday. Let's up the ante here. Did anyone strike out 5 times on their birthday?
That's a good question right there.
Nobody has done it. Not a single person.
Ooh. I can tell you there's only one player to have 5 3-hit games on their birthday, and it's a legend. It's Lou Gehrig.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's crazy too, because his career was still cut short.
Yeah, but he was still able to manage 5 3-hit games on
I
his
guess not by
birthday,
too much. He still played 17 years, but yeah.
which was June 19th. Was his birthday. And then right behind him, Ellis Burks had 4 3-hit games on his birthday. And back to single game, the highest game score in a 9-inning game on a birthday was from a man by the name of Vicente Palacios, who on July 1994 had 1 hit allowed, 1 walk allowed, 8 strikeouts, and a complete game shutout. That's the highest game score in a 9-inning game on a birthday.
What's the game
Second
score?
highest, 92.
Nice.
Second highest was Garrett Cole on September 8th, 2019. He celebrated his 29th birthday with 8 innings pitched, 1 hit, 15 strikeouts, no walks, and it's the most strikeouts by a pitcher on their birthday, straight up.
Yeah.
So yeah, Garrett Cole, he, you figured the strikeout record would be recent, and that's exactly what Garrett Cole did.
Yeah.
The last birthday stat I have, there are 6 players to get a home run on their birthday 5 different times. Those are Al Simmons, Alex Rodriguez, Todd Helton, Derek Lee, Mark Reynolds, and Mike Trout.
Yeah, I think Mark Reynolds has the most like career homers on a birthday.
Yeah, I believe so
6.
too.
I think he might have been tied with someone though.
Oh yeah, he is tied. He's tied with A-Rod.
Okay. Yep.
But Mark Reynolds never tested positive for PEDs, so yeah.
And he never did it a second time.
No, he didn't. So this is post recording, but I did find some more birthday stats, and I feel like I'd be inclined to share. It's a special occasion, so I'm gonna interrupt the show here with a couple more birthday stats. I got one where a guy was good on his birthday, one where a guy was extremely bad. I'll start with the good. Bobo Newsom, a pitcher in the 30s and 40s with a legendary name. He was able to get the victory on 5 different birthdays. His 28th, 31st, 32nd, 35th, and 39th birthdays. He got the win in all of them. So shout out to Bobo Newsom for that. And looks like in most of them, definitely earned those victories. He got the complete game in all of them, and only allowed more than 3 runs once in one of those birthdays. So got a little birthday gift when he gave up 6 earned runs and still got the victory. And then a really, really bad one, maybe the worst birthday performance of all time. Jeremy Guthrie on his 38th birthday on April 8th, 2017, while he was a member of the Nationals, which I don't really remember him being a National. He pitched 2/3 of an inning, allowed 6 hits, 4 walks, didn't strike out anybody, and allowed 10 runs. 10 runs all earned. Very unfortunate there. But yeah, those are the extra birthday stats. Hope you enjoyed. Back to the show. So yeah, fun to go over weird baseball, and that's what we did. I think my favorite was George Mullen throwing the no-hitter on his birthday in
That's
1912.
cool. Yeah.
Only pitcher to throw a no-hitter on their birthday, so that's cool. So yeah, let's hope that Daniel's birthday and my birthday in 6 months is like these players, not Taylor Walls' birthday.
I mean, and also let's just hope, I mean, you mentioned this earlier, but I mean, let's hope that, the Simmons year is much like the Arky Vaughan 1935 season.
Yes.
Where he was
We
23 as well. Yeah. Did you look up like highest WAR in an age 23 season and find the most fun one?
Yeah.
Nice.
Where Arky Vaughan had a 1090 OPS.
Yeah. In 1935.
In 1935. That's pretty wild. All right. So that leads into players to highlight with our Thursday. Thursday, May 25, 2023 edition of How About That? Who do you have for us today?
So for my how about that, this doesn't cross the team off the list, and I've been kind of looking at this guy for a while, and luck reasons have kept me away from him, but I'm going for it today. I'm talking about Riley Green because he's been excellent. Over his last 22 games, he is slashing 364, 423, 546 for a 968 OPS and a 173 weighted runs created plus. And during that span, he is 6th among qualifying position players in F4, trailing only Luis Robert, Juan Soto, Freddie Freeman, Mookie Betts, and Yordan Alvarez. And then after that is Riley Green. He also has a 475 BABIP this season, over this span, which leads the majors, but he has dramatically improved his batted ball profile over that time. So you look at a 475 BABIP and immediately you're thinking, okay, well, that's not sustainable. And you're probably right, but Riley Green has, when you look at his batted ball data, it makes sense why a large portion of his batted balls are falling for hits. So getting into it specifically, before this span, he had an 18% line drive rate, the 25th lowest among the 200 hitters with at least 50 batted balls. And in this span, he has a 34.4% line drive rate, the 8th highest among the 170 qualifiers. Before this span, he had a ground ball rate of 62.3%, the 3rd highest rate in the league. And in this span, he has dropped it to 46.9%, just slightly above league average, which is a pretty dramatic drop. His sweet spot percentage has also gone from 27.9% before the span to 37.5% in the span, a near 10% increase. And his exit velocity has gone from 89.3 4 miles per hour to 93.2 miles per hour, the 15th highest on that list of 170. And overall, he has a 315 expected batting average in this span and a 364 batting average. So, it's not a crazy high increase between the two. And that expected batting average is the 13th highest. And this is pretty cool. Only one of his last 96 batted balls have been above 45 degrees, which is pretty insane. Since April 14th, which is most of the season, his 1.1% rate of batted balls being 45 degrees or higher is the second lowest rate among the 273 hitters with at least 50 batted balls in that span. He trails only Tim Anderson, who has 0 of such batted balls. In 2023, he is just one of 2 qualifiers that has yet to hit a pop-up this entire season. It's him and JD Davis that have not hit a single pop-up, which is pretty cool. So Riley Green has been hitting the ball a lot better in many different ways. He's hitting the ball harder. He's making better contact. And that's why he's been killing it in this span.
Yeah, Riley Green.
How about that?
Yeah, he definitely making an improvement. And yeah, I mean, showing why he was number 2 prospect when he was called up, like
Top 5. I don't know
top 5.
exactly.
Yeah, he was up there for sure. Yeah, pretty good defensive center fielder if I stand correct. My how about that? Much of what I have to say about my how about that is splash, because I went reliever diving today.
Oh,
And I think I'm crossing the team off the list. Normally when you go to the Rockies, your pitching gets worse, but this guy has gotten far better for some reason. And I'm talking about our favorite soft throw and lefty, Brent Suter, who in 30 and 2/3 innings pitched this year has a 0.88 ERA and a 2.07 expected ERA. He has the 3rd most innings for a reliever, and out of 186 qualified relievers, his ERA ranks 4th. And out of 135 overall pitchers with 30 plus innings pitched, Suter's ERA is the lowest. Along with that, Brent Suter's expected batting average against is in the 95th percentile, expected slugging against is in the 99th percentile, and expected ERA is in the 98th percentile in all of baseball. He has an average exit velocity against of 82.7 miles per hour and a hard hit rate against of 21.0%, which are 99th and 100th percentile respectively. No one is better at preventing hard hit balls in baseball than Brent Suter right now. On 81 batted balls, Brent Suter has allowed only 1 barrel, which puts him in the 99th percentile in barrel rate. And from 2022 to 2023, his average exit velocity has dropped 3 miles per hour. Hard hit rate against has dropped 9.3 percentage points. Barrel rate has dropped 4.5 percentage points, and strikeout rate has actually increased 3.6 percentage points. So his batted ball profile it was already really good, and it's gotten a lot better. It's gotten a lot better still, and also his strikeout rate has gotten better. And Brent Suter also has a better than average sweet spot rate. So even with these soft hit balls, they're also hitting it in the wrong direction. So he has a better than average sweet spot rate, and his hard hit sweet spot rate ranks 2nd lowest out of 153 pitchers with 80 plus batted balls against. I think less than 10% of his batted balls are hard hit and in the sweet spot zone, which is really, really good. So Brent Suter, the soft contact machine, getting a
How about that?
Chris.
So now
Gotta
we
love
move on
reliever
to
diving.
the players or subjects that have been underperforming with our Thursday, May 25th, 2023 edition of
Slightly alarming.
Who do you have for us today?
So for my slightly alarming, I'm talking about a free agent from last winter who signed with a new team, and Started out pretty decent in a couple games, but has kind of struggled lately. Talking about Mitch Haniger of the San Francisco Giants. Throughout the month of May, he is slashing 174, 186, 203, 389 for a 4 weighted runs created plus. All of those rank in the bottom 10 among the 176 qualifiers throughout the month. So he's been really struggling. He is also tied for the second lowest walk rate. He has the 7th lowest ISO and the 4th highest strikeout percentage in this span. So he's not, he's not hitting the ball. He's not taking good pitches. He's not driving the ball. And he's not hitting for contact. A 174 average just isn't good. So, he's kind of struggling on all aspects of offense right now. During the span, he has 18 batted balls with a launch angle above 20 degrees. So that varies from 20 degrees to 50 degrees to 35 degrees. And he is 0 for 18 on such balls. And none of those 18 were pulled. All of them have gone either to center field or to the opposite field. So again, he has 0 pulled fly balls in the entire month of May. Which is pretty devastating because that's basically the best kind of batted ball, especially for a guy like Mitch Haniger, who does have a lot of power. In every season since 2018, at least 40% of his batted balls have been pulled. In 2023, it is 35%. Overall this year, he has 2 pulled fly balls on 60 batted balls total. And in the month of May, he is hitting and slugging 143 on batted balls to the opposite field, which, by the way, he's hitting to the opposite field 35% of the time this year, by far the highest in a year. And both that hitting and slugging rank in the bottom 10 among the 196 hitters with at least 10 batted balls to the opposite field. So Mitch Haniger is not walking, not hitting the ball consistently, and he's just not, his timing is definitely off because, 0 pulled fly balls over the span of a month is not good.
Yeah, Mitch Haniger.
Slightly alarming.
Yeah, he was this past offseason signed for a 3-year, $45 million deal with the Giants. The Giants were kind of hoping for him to be a good outfield power bat they didn't really have much of besides Jock Peterson. And so far not looking like he's fulfilling that. So yeah, very unfortunate there. My slightly alarming is actually mentioned in your how about that. It's Tim Anderson, who in his last 19 games is hitting 197 with a 425 OPS and a 16 weighted runs created plus. Out of 181 qualifiers in this span, his on-base percentage is 8th lowest, slugging is 4th lowest, and OPS is 5th lowest. And out of 96 hitters with 50 plus batted balls in the span, his expected WOBA and expected slugging are both 2nd worst. His barrel rate has gone from 11.4% before the span to 1.6% in this span. He only has one barrel out of 60 batted balls in this span in his last 19 games. And his sweet spot rate has gone from 43% to 20% in this span. And his ground ball rate has gone from 57%, which is already high, to 74%. The increase in ground ball rate is even more alarming considering his sprint speed has dropped 1.5 feet per second from 2022 to 2023 and has gone from the 77th percentile in all of baseball to 41st percentile in all of baseball. So 1.5 feet per second, that's going to prevent him from legging out infield singles the way he used to. And we've kind of seen that in the span. He is hitting 244 and slugging 244 on grounders, but he was hitting 285 and slugging 312 on grounders in the StatCast era before this year. So there's been an increase in ground ball rate, but he's gotten worse results on ground balls, probably largely because of his sprint speed dropping. Along with his increase in ground ball rate, his line drive rate has gone from 34% to 15% in the span. And out of 96 hitters with 50 plus batted balls in the span, his line drive rate is 6th lowest, his sweet spot rate is the lowest, and his ground ball rate is the highest by 12.8 percentage points. He's at 73.8%. The next highest ground ball rate is 61%. So Tim Anderson putting the ball on the ground, he's not quite as fast as he was last year, and he is getting a
Slightly alarming.
So that does it for players to highlight. And now we will get into a preview of the weekend ahead. And yeah, I don't think there's any 4-game series or there might be one 4-game series that starts today, or a couple. However, so yeah, it's a preview of the weekend ahead. I will be looking at the series to watch. Daniel will be looking at the day-by-day pitching matchups to watch. Although if we look far enough ahead, there might not be too much announced, but we will work with what we have here. In terms of series to watch, we have a solid 2020 World Series rematch.
Yeah.
With the Rays and Dodgers playing at the Trop. And not only is it cool because it's a World Series rematch, but it's also two of the best teams in baseball. I think it's the best record in the AL versus the best record in the NL, or close to that. So I mean, that you could argue is the premier series to watch here.
It definitely has to be. I don't know what else.
It's definitely got to be.
I don't know what else it would take.
Yeah, it would be tough. I mean, definitely best record wise for sure.
Orioles Braves already happened. I guess Orioles Rangers,
right?
But that's not happening.
So
no, it is happening actually. That's a lie.
Yeah, I was gonna get to that. There's a 4-game series between the Braves and the Phillies, which will be at Truist Park. Two NL East teams. Phillies have been kind of struggling lately, but they had a very strong come from behind victory last night, or yesterday, not last night. And along with that, I guess, it could be the premier series to watch, but also Rays Dodgers is probably the premier series to watch. But it's the battle of the overperforming American League teams, with the Orioles and Rangers going at it at Camden Yards, starting on Friday. So that's going to be a 3-game matchup, probably pretty fun to watch. What do you got for the day-by-day pitching matchups?
So today on Thursday, we have Braxton Garrett and Kyle Freeland facing each other in Marlins Rockies at Coors, a couple of lefties. Blake Snell will be facing the Nationals for the Padres in Washington. Lucas Giolito will be facing the Tigers for the White Sox in Guaranteed Rate Field. Aaron Nola will be facing the Braves for the Phillies in Truist Park. Carlos Carrasco and Kyle Hendricks will face each other in Mets Cubs at Wrigley. Logan Gilbert will pitch for the Mariners against the A's in T-Mobile Park. And matchup of the day comes from Blue Jays Rays at Tropicana Field. It's going to be Alek Manoah versus Zach Eflin.
There we go. Yeah, that's
a good one.
Yeah, good matchup. Good matchup there.
So then on Friday, Hunter Green faces the Cubs for the Reds at Wrigley. It's going to be an afternoon game, of course. Lance Lynn will be facing the Tigers. They'll be facing Joey Wentz in White Sox Tigers. John Gray and Grayson Rodriguez will face each other in Rangers Orioles in Camden Yards. Matt Liberatore and Shane Bieber will face each other in Cardinals Guardians. It's a good matchup. Jared Schuster will be facing the Phillies for the Braves. He had looked solid his last time out. Kevin Gausman will face the Twins for the Blue Jays in Minnesota. For the Blue Jays, Alex Wood and Freddie Peralta will face each other in Giants Brewers at American Family Field. Max Scherzer will face the Rockies for the Mets at Coors. Chris Sale will face the Diamondbacks for the Red Sox in Arizona. Hunter Brown will be facing the A's for the Astros in Oakland. You will have Jesus Luzardo and Reed Detmers facing each other in Marlins Angels at the Big A. And matchup of the night comes from Pirates Mariners. It's Mitch Keller versus George Kirby.
Yeah, a couple up and comers there.
Yeah, Mitch Keller's been maybe the best pitcher in the league over the last month.
Shout out to me for saying he would have an over a 3.45 ERA this year in your question.
Yeah. On Saturday, you'll have Andrew Heaney going for the Rangers against the Orioles. Framber Valdez going for the Astros against the A's in Oakland. Brady Singer going for the Royals against the Nationals in Kansas City. Roansy Contreras and Luis Castillo will face each other in Pirates and Mariners. How about this one? Clayton Kershaw versus Tyler Glasnow coming back from the IL in Dodgers Rays. That's going to be a lot of fun. Zach Wheeler and Charlie Morton will face each other in Phillies Braves. Garrett Whitlock will make his return from the IL for the Red Sox against the Diamondbacks. Tanner Bybee and I believe Jordan Montgomery will face each other in Cardinals Guardians. I'm going to be at that game. And Justin Verlander will face the Rockies for the Mets at Coors. Edward Cabrera and Shohei Ohtani will face each other in Marlins Angels. And matchup of the night, this is a great one, matchup of the afternoon, comes from Giants Brewers. Logan Webb versus Corbin Burns.
That's solid. That's solid.
Yeah.
Kershaw Glasnow, by the way, a Game 1 World Series rematch.
Yeah,
Hopefully it goes better for Glasnow.
I was very close to putting that as matchup of the night.
Yeah, my OCD just wanted to spew out that fact.
Yeah. And then lastly on Sunday, Gavin Stone will face the Rays for the Dodgers. That's going to be the Peacock game at 11:35. Obviously not a lot is announced. Jose Barrios and Bailey Ober will face each other in Blue Jays Twins. Alex Cobb will be pitching for the Giants against the Brewers. Graham Ashcraft will face the Cubs for the Reds at Wrigley. Christian Javier will face the A's for the Astros. Yuri Perez and Patrick Sandoval will face each other in Marlins Angels. Tanner Houck will be going for the Red Sox against the Diamondbacks. They have not announced their starters yet. Luis Ortiz will face the Mariners for the Pirates. Spencer Strider will face the Phillies for the Braves. And the matchup of the day comes from White Sox Tigers. It's Dylan Cease versus Eduardo Rodriguez.
Two AL Central aces.
Yeah.
One has been an ace this year. The other was an ace last year.
Exactly.
So yeah, that does it for this installment of Above Replacement Radio. We hope you enjoy this one. If you want to follow us on social media, follow me on Twitter at Chris_Gianta. Follow Daniel on both Twitter and Instagram at Daniel_Curran. Give him a birthday wish. He deserves it. And if you are listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify and want to watch the conversation as it happens, go to the YouTube channel. It is called Above Replacement Radio, and check out the short digital content as well on there. And if you are watching on YouTube and want to see our own audio only streams, go to Apple Podcasts and Spotify. That is also called Above Replacement Radio. And if you want to get all the show needs, follow the show Instagram at Above Replacement Radio. And we hope you enjoyed this one, and we hope to see you next time, where we will be talking all the happenings in Major League Baseball. Once again, see you then.
This conversation is over.